Welcome back, everyone, to the GMS Magazine podcast. This is a very, very special episode because after many months that we did our series of episodes, I am absolutely delighted to welcome to this podcast, which, by the way, is all about board games, role playing games, and the people who make them, and sometimes the people who play them. I am Paco Garcia, and with me, after a long, long break, it's my immense pleasure to welcome back Shawn. How are you, Shawn? Hello, welcome back. How are you doing?
Hello, I am great.
It's
Great.
been so long since we did our series of episodes where we covered
Yeah,
some interesting and intricate topics that.
yeah, yeah. I think It was in that. Was this before COVID? I think it might have been.
Yes, yes, it was about that time. I think
Yeah,
when things well, the proverbial shit hit the cosmic fan, and
yeah.
everything became so muddled. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's been over 2 years now.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to since? Because you haven't stopped. I know that much.
Right. Yeah. Uh, so since then, I had I began what I'm calling Project Zoom. It's a like my repository for all my creative Jewish stuff,
Hmm.
whether it's creative writing or role playing games or like little lessons that I approach in a very creative way. And what's really interesting is that I'm getting this opportunity to develop a course that in which I get to use role playing as a central element. Um, so I'll be on like Judaism Unbound. It's a popular Jewish podcast. On doing their Shavuot live thing coming up this Friday, which is why my book is on sale, by the way. Coming up this Friday, and it's basically just this learning, this whole an entire night of learning Jewish stuff, and I'm using role playing as an element of ex- like showing how you can merge Judaism with world building and science fiction and fantasy and stuff like that. So um it's a pretty interesting thing that I'm doing and really developing that aspect of the that aspect of what I'm doing with projects in Zoom. It's interesting that it came out that way. The role playing is seems to be the doorway that's the key that's opening the door, so to speak. Um, what else? There's I had to put like the blog RPG tweaks kind of on hold almost indefinitely in a way because there's also I haven't had really time to devote to it because I have this thing that I'm working on, this huge project that is eventually going to be announced. And once it is, I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
Um, and then there's like the whole WOTC situation where like I was coming trying to come up with a like a microlight True 25E thing, and then that whole WOTC thing hit, and I'm just like, stop. Okay, so I can't do that anymore. So what else am I going to talk about? I have to completely switch gears and figure out what I'm going to do with that. So yeah.
So you haven't stopped. You've of course. I have here with me The Red Door, a dark fairy tale told in poems, which you have also published. And
Mhm.
not long ago. I mean, I've had this book for a few months now, which took a long time to arrive from the US. But how is that going?
That's going well. Apparently, they just sent me. They said that the, the sales are doing fairly well considering it's a first thing and it's poetry on top of that. Um, it's let me see. They said that I got some new stock just arrived apparently, so more people are ordering it, and and I've never been comfortable with self promotion. Just FYI, dear listener. So me constantly talking about this thing I'm doing is just not how I generally operate. But I eased into mentioning the book when I meet new people. or when I'm in an environment in which the topic of the book would be interesting, whether it's like queer erotica or Jewish mysticism or what have you. So yeah.
There's always something that I have wanted to ask you, and I don't know if this is going to be appropriate, so by all means, feel free to tell me to F
Mhm,
off if need be. But there's always one thing that I have found fascinating about you, and is
mhm,
how passionate and how important it is for you to firstly dismantle an awful lot of bullshit being said and being portrayed about Judaism and the Jewish
mhm,
people, and how important
mhm.
it is for you to actually continue with that and go on with it. Why is it so important for you as a Jewish person to take that as a kind of, I don't want to say crusade because that would be the completely wrong word, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that focus of drive and passion for you. Why does it matter so much?
Um, I know it's asked me that before, so give me a moment to think about it.
Okay.
I think a lot of it all has to do with how I came to my Jewish identity,
Mhm.
as in I wasn't born to it. So that, and then there's also the fact that I am black and a woman and gay. And that means that whenever I like, if I'm like a minority within a minority within a minority within a minority. And that means that I have to carve out places for myself if I'm going to have any space in any space at all. So, um, and it used to be where, you just get along to get along or don't make a big deal out of it or whatever. And that started getting exhausting. And it got started feeling exhausting and I didn't feel like I could be myself.
Mhm.
And it's like, and I guess it's just one of those things where it's unfair, but the world we live in is one where I have to almost constantly push back against something to make space for me to exist. Not not just as a black woman or whatever. It's just like to me to exist and be myself where it's like okay, I have to push against this thing and make this corner, this little tiny little space for me where I can feel it and don't have to feel as if I have to choose between one or more identities. And yeah, so it's just, I guess it's just, it's a necessity. I don't have much of a choice in the matter.
But I do like I do like that answer an awful lot because I mean we have some common friends in Facebook who are also Jewish. There's a fair amount of Jewish people within the gaming community creating
Hmm.
all sorts of content. And I
Hmm.
get the feeling sometimes, I mean, they're all, whenever questioned, I don't
Hmm.
think any of them hide the fact that they're Jewish. They're quite proud
Hmm.
of their heritage, they're quite proud of their identity, they're quite proud of their culture and how that influences their creation. But I
Hmm.
don't think I know very many that are actually so proactive in the raising of awareness of Judaism within the world of uh, board games and role playing games. How annoying is it for you when people, get something completely wrong, like the use of golem or the use of phylactery, that sort of thing, which are a bit like,
Hmm. Yikes.
why didn't you ask the right people before using that? How does it feel when people use that sort of word inappropriately?
Inappropriate. Okay, maybe I've mellowed out in my so-called old age, but like I I like to give people grace to not know things,
Okay.
and I understand Jewish people are not a numerous people. Conspiracy theories about us controlling banks or media or whatever, or the weather, or whatever it is they think Jews are in control of, notwithstanding, like that bullshit stories that they tell each other about how powerful we are. And it's like, if you've actually met us, those conspiracy theories will fall apart like instantly.
But you know what? Let me
Um,
let me let me do a little bit of a break you there because if all of those things were true, that you were all rich and own banks and control the whole of New York. Apparently, the whole of New York belongs to you. I don't know if you knew that, but the whole of New York belonged to Jewish people. That I thought that was a bit like, wow, heavens, that must be incredible to know that you're going to, wow, can go to New York and live anywhere. What would be so wrong with that?
Apparently we're doing it for a bad reason.
Oh, sorry,
Um,
of course, silly of me.
so like for instance, okay, if the way they talk about like anti-Semitism is such a weird thing because the way it functions. Like in most forms of bigotry, you see the target of bigotry as being less than in some way.
Mhm.
But when it comes to anti-Semitism, we're endowed with like magical superpowers that let us control the whole world. So, and then especially in like in America with the Christian nationalism, if you're watching it from overseas,
Well,
it's even scarier here. Um, it, and the thing is, like, they blame Jewish people for feminism. They blame Jewish people for civil rights. They blame Jewish people for like queer liberation and like gay marriage, and they blame Jewish people for the existence of trans people. So I see your look on your face. So it's like, yes, this is an actual conspiracy theory. And it's the same thing with turfs, where it's like you scratch the turf and then you start seeing that weird anti-Semitic bullshit crop up where it's like, yeah, they're doing it because the Jews. And
but you know what? But I'm sorry, you are missing a huge chance in there. You're missing quite a bit because, quite frankly, if somebody said to me, you are guilty for the existence of trans people, I would say, boom, yeah, baby, all on me, happy. I'm totally guilty for the liberation of gay people. Absolutely, yeah, all mine. I did it. Boom.
okay, I
What's
mean,
so wrong with that?
well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like they're making laws and stuff. It's like trying to
Well, no,
pin
that's
it on us.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think what's happening right now is absolutely horrific. But I would be so happy if anybody blamed me, for the existence of queer rights. I would say, yeah, thank you for making me a hero all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah, I think the rationale is like the Jews are deliberately turning kids gay and trans
Oh,
to undermine the traditional white family or some weird shit like that. It's it I I don't go down that rabbit hole because the algorithm will probably send me a whole flood of that shit and I don't want to deal with it. Because like you know how it is with the algorithm. You see one video, just like let's see what this is about. And then it's like, oh, let's recommend you some more conspiracy theorists. You know? Let's give you some more Nazis. And like, do you want more Nazis? I'm like, no,
maybe
no,
not.
no, no more Nazis. I was just curious about what they say about themselves in their own words. It, uh, do you want more Nazis? Yes, yes. No, no,
No.
no, no more Nazis. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, it's like it's interesting when it comes to anti-Semitism. So, and the thing about anti-Semitism, because the fact of Jewish life is so different from the fictions people make up. You constantly have to push back against it because most people believe certain things about Jews, yet never met a Jewish person in their life. It's like, so wait a minute. So how do you know? Like, and then when you bring it up to them, and you must have had this experience where it's like this person who's never met a person like you in that way says this, that, and the third, and then you say, "Well, I'm this," and then they're going, and then it's just like the cognitive dissonance just doesn't register. It, it's just like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I was wrong. They don't go that. They don't say, oh, maybe I was wrong. It's, oh, well, you're different. You're not like them.
Well, I can. I'm going to some degree, and I will explain why I say this. I can understand people saying that because, firstly, I was one of them because I didn't know that. I
Hmm.
mean, Spain, we do have some Jewish people, but it's not a huge community and it's not a visible enough community that the culture is pervasive. So we know what's going on
Hmm.
within the Jewish community. We just have no clue. But I remember an acquaintance from Madrid once. He's from Argentina, and
Hmm.
I don't know how the conversation came along, but one of the things that he said, and this was after I met you, so I was kind of, I'm not going to say more knowledgeable because I am not. I'm going to say more aware because I do try to pay more attention. And one of the things that he said was, in Argentina there's loads of Jewish people, but you don't make friends with them. I said, why not? I have some Jewish friends, and they're perfectly nice, and why wouldn't you? So well, because comes Christmas, and we open our doors and we invite them, come and have dinner with us and have a meal, but then they have their celebrations and they never invite anyone. They're just closed and they do it for themselves and they don't invite anybody. So why would invite them back? And I was just thinking, I pick my battles now a little bit more carefully, and I just don't go down some rabbit holes. But I was just left thinking, why on earth would you demand that people open up a culture to you when it's something that's dear to them, when it's something that's private to them, when it's something that's for them? Why this entitlement that they should reciprocate with exactly the same thing that you give them? And what makes you think that you don't have to earn that place
Hmm.
in there? But I just
Hmm.
left it because I thought I bet that is a lot of people's perceptions. That, oh, you are not as frivolous with your celebrations as we are with ours. How dare you, sort of thing.
Okay.
Um,
Uh, yeah, it's kind of, which is an odd thing to say because many Jews would love to tell you exactly what we actually do,
well,
as opposed to what people make up about us. Because the fewer anti-Semitic canards, the better. The fewer ignorant shit being said about Jews, the better. And it's yeah. So I can imagine it's like always having to be kind of out and proud about it in a way. um,
but
it's
to me, what got
yeah.
me was the sense of entitlement.
Hmm.
That's the thing that grabbed me. That was a bit. Wait a second, but why did you expect them to actually have to do this? If they
Hmm.
are a close community for whatever the reason,
Hmm.
and also what he was doing was so fucking unchristian. You're meant to just invite people in without asking for anything in return. Why are you
Hmm.
expecting reciprocation? That I thought it was complete bullshit. But um,
Yeah.
anyway, that's I don't know how we got to this particular point, but yeah. So I can see what you were saying regarding the being important for you to be able to carry your whole identity and not have to, make concessions or have to hide things
Yeah.
from people that
Hmm. Yeah. And nowadays, I think that in America, at least, is Israel Palestine. That's the main. How would I say this? Contention point for a lot of Americans. Um, and whether it's regardless of how you identify politically, because you have the right wing evangelicals who want all the Jews to be in one place so that Jesus can kill us all
hmm
during the rapture.
of course.
And you have some who think that, well, the creation of the state of Israel is a historic mistake that needs to be erased. And therefore we need to all die. So it's, um, and most people are not that extreme. Well, let me take that back. Most evangelicals don't realize that's what they're doing, and that some people don't realize when they say, "Yeah, this creation was this, that, and the third." But it's like Israel Palestine seems to be the fault line in a lot of this, and it's like, and if you try to be an adult and introduce some nuance and like kind of strip away the propaganda and the spin and just look at the facts of the situation and the facts on the ground, it gets really uh it's just fucking exhausting, really. It's just like that is a country I've never been to. I don't vote there, I don't pay taxes there, and it's like, and I, not me personally, I don't get it as much um when people find out I'm Jewish, but it has happened to me before where people want me to get into Middle Eastern geopolitics at the drop of a dime when they find out. And I'm like, first of all, not my lane, really. It's not my area of expertise. It's like even like the simple facts of the history there, I can't really piece together anything to make a cogent argument. And then the there's the humanitarian element, of course. There's the, you have a powerful nation kind of treating this group of people like crap. I get it. But they're not the only ones treating this group of people like crap. And it's all tied up in like history and nationalism and the collapse of the British Empire and the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. And it's all this like all those weird historical fault lines where you find out that that history is still very present. It's just happening right there. And it just happens to be Israel. And it's like, and I got grilled on Israel in ways that I've never been grilled on about China. And I've actually been to China twice. I spent money there. I lived there for a good chunk, like a good chunk of time, at least a couple of months. Well, the first time a couple of months, the second time close about 6, 7 months. No one ever grills me about what the Chinese are doing to the Uyghurs, for instance. And they shouldn't because I don't vote there. I don't pay taxes there. But uh, but somehow when people find out that I'm Jewish, that makes them instantly they instantly turns them into experts in Middle Eastern. And I hate saying, well, is it Middle Eastern? Is that the right term now? Should I say Southwest Asian geopolitics? And I'm like, why? I don't live there. I care about the people there because half the world's Jews live there. And many Jewish communities that would have gone extinct survived because of it. But I can't tell you, like, if you want me to sum it up in a way that turns it into a Marvel movie with clearly defined heroes and villains, I'm sorry, I cannot do that for you. But yeah.
It's that is one topic that I have never brought up with a Jewish person, and I probably never would, because
Mhm,
unless they are from that part of the world, and I know a couple of people
mhm,
from that part of the world, from
mhm,
Israel in particular, and I would
yeah.
never bring it up because I doubt, I don't know a lot about it,
Mhm,
um, and I doubt that there is a way that it can
mhm,
either be explained to me in a way that would make perfect sense, in a
mhm,
length of time that I would have, because it would take way
mhm,
too long. And to be
mhm,
perfectly honest, it doesn't matter what I know or
mhm,
don't know. That conflict needs a different measure that I wouldn't be able to
mhm.
come up with anyway, because
Yeah.
it's just not working. That's all I know for sure, is that whatever they're
Yeah.
doing ain't working for either side.
Mhm.
So I don't.
Exactly.
It's no. So I don't talk to Jewish people about that because I think it puts a huge amount of pressure on their shoulders to know about something that, and they may not even agree with Israel's politics and policies, and they may get some flack from other Jewish people. So it's a bit, let's not touch this
Yeah.
topic.
Israelis don't even agree with Israeli policy, so it's like, what are you gonna do?
Exactly. So it's just too
Yeah.
complex, too complicated,
Like,
and no,
yeah. There was those. Yeah.
let's just
It's like,
hope
yeah.
that there is a resolution within our lifetimes. That would be quite an
Yeah,
achievement.
that would be great.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
that
would
would be
be.
great if they could figure that out. Like, please. And honestly, I think my American ass probably should keep my mouth shut. I mean, listen, the country I live in was founded on slavery, and literally uh, killing entire civilizations off to extract wealth
Hmm.
to make a country on the other side of the ocean rich. It, glass houses. I can't. I have, and then we're still living with that legacy today. And it's not like, oh, we did that and we apologized and we made up for it. Oh no,
Oh,
that's the effects of that are still ongoing. So I feel like Americans, especially if you're white, ease back a little bit.
yes. Yeah,
Just even.
I think there's well, I love this sentence because it really triggers the right people very quickly. Which is, look, just check your privilege.
Yeah.
Just check it out. So
It's like,
anyway, since we spoke
yeah,
last,
so
we've had some really bad news because I remember we did a special couple of episodes on Lovecraft Country,
yes.
and the morons did
Ooh,
not
that bad
renew
news.
it.
Yes. And then there was that thing about the lead actor, Jonathan Majors, having abusing women issues. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, there was I don't really follow the whole thing because that's just again really stressful. All it would do is stress me out and make me mad. So, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but he was cast as this major villain in the next phase of Marvel, the MCU. He was cast as Kang the Conqueror,
Yep.
or yeah, as Kang the Conqueror, and and it comes out that I don't know if he got arrested or if something happened, like something weird and legal happened with him regarding some text messages that strongly hinted at he was using one of his, his partner, his female partner. Um, and then there were a few whispers and mumbles here and there about, yeah, that's a pattern with him.
Wait a second. According to Vox, Jonathan Majors, Emmy-nominated Lovecraft Country and Creed 3 star, was arrested on
Yeah,
March 25th, 2023 in Manhattan on misdemeanor charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment in a reported domestic
yeah,
dispute with his girlfriend. Ooh, that's
yeah,
disappointing.
yeah. And it was literally a week after we were like, yay, he wore pink. Yeah, that is
Ah,
bad.
that's really bad.
Mm. Yeah.
I
So,
am really gutted because I think he was one of the very few things in Quantum Mania.
mhm.
Very few good things in
Yeah.
that movie. That it was him. He made for a great Kang, but
Mhm.
that is highly disappointing.
Yeah. It was like, okay, now let's see what's going on with it. Okay, so it's that, ooh. And it was like, yeah, that was going on for a minute. Oh, shit. Great. Um,
That's disappointing. I mean, I'm still sad that they didn't renew Lovecraft Country. I don't know where they would have
yeah.
gone with it, but I'm sad they didn't renew it. Really.
Yeah, it has some, how did I say it? It has some great ideas. I was confused about I think I mentioned this the last time. It was like I was confused about some of the execution, especially in that last episode. Why did y'all do that to us? Um,
Yeah, it did have
and
issues, definitely.
yeah, and then there was like I remember some kind of thingy where there was like some kind of outline or something that Misha Green had put up that was supposed to have been for season two, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" uh, you know, it's and it kind of sucks because it's like, you have this show that's creatively and aesthetically centers around the Black American experience, and it just seems that like whenever like any kind of minority group gets something of their own that you know that that opens a lot of doors or breaks a few boundaries in ways in some pretty interesting ways. The execution notwithstanding, it's like it's not given a chance to become its thing. It's not really given a chance to grow. And that becomes even more so, like now with the Writers Guild strike on, it's like even now where it's like you behind the scenes, there's this whole system of exploitation that makes it even less likely that we're going to get that.
Hmm.
And it's sort of like because like when was the last time you really just thought, okay, Afrocentric sci-fi horror? When does that happen? And it's like and it was like that one show where we could be weird. Shit could just be weird. And it was like, okay. It was not okay in the sense of like, oh, it's okay for black people to be weird, but it's like it it was addressing certain things about Black history, but it was also this other thing. It also had these really cool genre things going on. And I feel like whether you're Black or queer or some other, another indigenous or some other person of color, we don't really get a lot of space in genre storytelling. Whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, or horror. And like, okay, with the exception of Jordan Peele, it's like we have Jordan Peele, and he might make a movie every year, every other year,
Hmm.
but that's one guy, and that's not, And I think a friend of mine once said, I want to be picky. I want to be able to say, I don't want to have to root for this one show because that's all we have. But but yeah, with Lovecraft Country, there was so much in it that was really interesting, and I was intrigued by it, and I was wondering where they would go, um, or how they would like push certain boundaries, or where they were going with that. Um, I think I would have watched the second season, even though I would have been mad at them. Um, but yeah, it's just like, especially now where it's like now Disney is also doing this weird thing where they're purging their collection on Disney Plus of shows that they actually made for Disney Plus. And it's like, why? Like, okay, like the that series based on Willow,
Oh,
that fantasy movie. Yeah, I watched that. It was quite enjoyable actually. It's like it's a little YA for my taste, but whatever. The original movie was literally for children. And it was like, and it did some really cool stuff. And it's like, when was the last time you see a small person as the lead role in something like that, as opposed to an alien in a costume, or or a joke or a background character, if that. And it's like and like that whole, not just representation wise, it's just genre storytelling is a lot poorer for it. And I know what they're going to do is blame the writer's strike, but it's not that. It's
no.
been going on since before that, where just like with on Netflix, there was that series based on Wednesday Addams, where they made Wednesday and her family Latinos,
Hmm.
and they canceled it after one season. And I'm like, why? It's like, why aren't they being given these opportunities to really find their voice or find their footing? Because I mean, I think most shows take more than like 10 episodes to really do that.
Yes, I,
I
I,
mean,
I agree with that.
yeah, it's like it takes more than 10 episodes. It's like, I guess if it's not like Abbott Elementary, it's like, it's great because it's kind of like an office like thing and it's realistic, but it's like it's an Emmy Award winning show. You would look ridiculous canceling that. But but it seems that like with on the especially on the streaming platforms where they make their own content, it's like Netflix is really bad about this, and so is Disney. Where it's like, okay, we're gonna give it one season. If it's not a smash hit, then we're gonna cancel it. And I understand this stuff is expensive. I get it, but these are not companies lacking for money.
No,
These are not companies where they're.
and the thing is, the one thing that bothers me about this sort of cancellations is that we don't know what their benchmark is. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody knows how does Netflix measure revenue for every
Hmm.
series they create and air. When they
Hmm.
stream it, what makes it what makes it profitable? Is it the
Hmm.
fact that people binge watch it constantly all
Hmm.
the time, or is it that they watch it over a period of time? Is it the number of watches? Because at the end of the day, the number of subscribers may go up and down a little bit, but it's not really going to change ginormously.
Hmm.
I mean, I know an awful lot of people who will take or will have taken the free month of HBO or Netflix to just watch
Hmm.
that one season
Yep.
and then forget about it. So they don't get any money out of that. So
Hmm.
there is no way of knowing how they measure what success actually means
Hmm.
for them and how
Yeah.
profitability works in
Hmm.
relation to how well a show does or it doesn't. But you are absolutely
Yeah.
right. I remember, things like Buffy or
Hmm.
the Vampire Diaries
Hmm.
or the originals. Every
Hmm.
season has 20 or 22 episodes.
Hmm.
And in every season, you can see two very distinct story arcs. So there are basically two seasons in one. And
Hmm.
by the time they've got to the end of the second season, it's 44 or 40 episodes.
Hmm.
That is four seasons of the existing ones. You're absolutely right. It's a lot easier
Hmm.
to actually develop the characters, develop the screen, develop the writers and the actors
Hmm.
than
Hmm.
doing just 10 episodes. So I don't get how they are going to decide in the future how that's going to work, because eventually, I mean, what are you going to do? Keep creating new things and then parking them, new things and then parking them, new things and then parking them? How is that cost effective?
Hmm.
How is it cost effective
Yeah.
that they have cancelled Carnival Row after two seasons?
Hmm.
Carnival Row must have cost a mint to do, and it
Hmm.
is actually a really good series.
Hmm.
Really good. And it's
Hmm.
over. The whole thing's been cleared out at the end of the second season. Why?
Yikes. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and it's like, note to streaming services: if you really want to make a whole huge killing, put your original shit in physical form.
Hmm.
Put your original shit in on a DVD, please. I was like, you would make so much money. Like, oh, and it's like, and then the models that they have for a lot of these, and it's so like ass and so fucking dumb. Whereas like basically you have to have, I don't know, maybe their uh revenue stream is basically just subscriptions. If it's just subscriptions.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to give them an idea, and I hope somebody's listening to this. Please, I hope somebody's listening to this, because I know what they have to do to actually make proper money out of their series. Netflix Kong and Amazon Prime Kong or Disney Plus Kong, that sort of thing. I bet you my left arm that if they did some sort of, Netflix Kong like Comic Con, but with
Hmm.
Netflix series and the actors from those series doing talks and doing, exhibits and selling bits and bobs of the stages and that sort of stuff, I bet you anything people would go wild to go on those and see those things. Because if they said the day after tomorrow, they said, you know what, May 31st, we're going to have the cast of Wednesday taking
Hmm.
questions and signing autographs and taking photographs.
Hmm.
Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people would be queuing to see that.
Hmm.
Thousands. So I'm sorry, but they're missing out on an awful lot of revenue by not engaging with the fans in a more direct and physical manner, I think.
Yeah. And yeah. They do that and sell DVDs, yo. Sell
Exactly.
DVDs.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And special editions, collected editions. Anyway,
Yeah.
why are we saving them? They should be paying us to do this kind of consultancy work, for
I
goodness
know.
sake. Ugh.
Like, go ahead, just give me a job title. You don't
Yes,
even have to pay me much. I won't. This is remote work. You don't have to pay me much.
exactly. I will write you a new for report. Talking about
Yeah.
writing, because you were doing writing stuff for 5e.
Mm. Yeah, I was trying.
Ouch.
Uh, okay, I just took it upon myself. If you recall, third edition DVD, there was this version of the game called True 20, where they stripped out all the really like the classes into like three groups. There was uh, the warrior, the expert, or like the skill monk, like the fighting class, the skill class, and the spellcaster class. So it was fight. It was the warrior, expert, and I think adept. And I said, okay, I really like the flexibility of that, but I was not keen on. And I remember third edition. I was not keen on having to choose precisely the right feats at every level, and getting all caught up in that. And I said, okay, I wanted to do my own version of True 20 upgrade it to 5th edition. Um, and I was doing that, and then the WOTC elephant kind of
Mm.
shat, and I had to put that on hold. It's like I have some stuff. Let me see if I can get it up here. I have some stuffs where I'm like trying to create these very like broad generic classes. So like instead of the tactical focus, I think of a lot of D&D character creation, it's more about like just getting a feel for a character. It's more like vibes
Hmm.
than anything. Um, Here we go. Yeah, I have, and I did 4 classes because there was no way I could fit like arcane and divine spellcasters under one class. So I said, okay, I'm gonna split them up, but uh, yes. Okay, I thought I did it. See if I can we can take a look at it. Is there a chat room? Oh, there's a chat room.
Yes.
There we are. And there's the link to like what I've done so far. And it's like, and on the blog you can see the evolution of it. I don't like delete anything. I just say, hey, I did this thing and I thought about it, and then it's like, I thought better of it. And then I was thinking and I consolidated some skills and proficiencies, and it's like I took D&D 5th edition and made it even simpler.
Well,
Even though 5th edition D&D is not particularly simple.
no, no, we're actually playing the Dragonlance campaign on Thursday, and I'm playing it with people who've never played D&D before, and they're finding
Hmm.
it really complicated.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
what to me comes
yeah.
like that very easily, for them it's like, well, wait a
Yeah.
second, why can't I just do one more spell? Oh, why didn't I think about this and so before? It's a really big mind exercise. I don't think we're gonna keep playing that much longer with them because it's just too much for
Mhm.
them, and
Yeah.
they cannot handle the progression. The characters go up in
Hmm.
level so quickly that
Hmm.
keeping track with all the skills and all the spells and all the everything that they can do that they weren't able to do 3 weeks ago is way too much for them. It's
Yeah.
getting annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I've become a big fan of is taking like a really minimalistic role playing game
Mm,
that's free or low cost and introducing people through it through that way. I've glommed onto like a very streamlined version of Fate that I'm playing with, and Fate is really great because I can like because it's a toolkit more than an actual system,
yep.
so I can put in things to make it more complicated, take things out to make it less complicated, and usually I'm taking things out. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with the that link over there in the chat
Hmm.
box is what I've been working on. Um,
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep writing for D&D? Are you gonna wait and see what happens? Are you gonna change the name so you don't have to?
oh, I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on the shelf for the time being. But if somebody like really wants me to finish it and begs me and like says really nice things to me, I might say, okay, fine, I'm doing this for so and so and such and such. Not to give WOTC anything. Like, I don't want to give them anything. Um, it's not like I was giving WOTC anything, but it's like, it's like whatever I put on those blogs or whatever, somebody can yank it and put their name on it or whatever. It's like if somebody wanted to like plagiarize me, I'm not encouraging you to plagiarize me. I'm just saying that if they were determined to do so, there wouldn't be much I could do about it with a company like WotC. But
Well,
but yeah.
it's actually a tricky one because well, it's always a tricky one with WhatsApp because right now, I mean, have they done enough by putting
Hmm.
all the SRD content in create on the Creative Commons license? Because
Right.
that was a big step, I have to say, for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like I don't want to get a cease and desist letter. Like I was like, oh no, this is not fair use. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it very simple and just stop. Um, and which actually forces me to look at other systems that I've had on my shelf for a while. Um, like I've been playing with Fate with my like Jewish role playing group on Sunday afternoons. Well, we took a break and we're starting back up next Sunday. And then I took a version of John Harper's I hacked John Harper's Lasers and Feelings to make it more Jewish. Let me find
Okay.
it that way. Uh, that's my hack of my very Jewish hack of Lasers and Feelings. Like I said, I've done Fate. I'm also interested in Cortex Prime because I actually wrote a supplement for that.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a very short supplement. I created this small town setting with many secrets like vampires, werewolves, and the like. Um, called Misty Cove, I think. And this was years ago, so I don't even know where it's at. I don't even know how people get their hands on it. But yeah, the with Cortex Prime, it's like it's something I want to experiment with at some point. Um, because I made a Fading Suns, and I put this in quotes, Fading Sun supplement based on it, and I really enjoyed myself. Um, what was it? The Fading Suns. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay, here we go. I made a Fading Suns thingy because I love that system where it's not the system. I don't like the rules very much, but I love the setting because if you like Dune and it's like Dune and Star Wars had a baby
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it has some Lovecraft in there somewhere and they turned it into a medieval passion play and I like it. So it's like, okay, I get to have my magic in my far future, really off the wall crazy shit. So, but yeah, what else? Yeah, Cortex Prime, but then there's some other stuff. And then there's of course the OSR revival, which I firmly support, but I don't know if the games themselves are really for me. Um, because I like I like that that is out there for people who want to play it, but it's just I don't think it's really for me. Um, feel like I like the simplicity, but it's like I like having more. I don't know. I guess I guess the OSR stuff feels more. I don't want to say less like a role playing game. That's not true. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't hit that spot I need to really grip me. Um,
It's
yeah.
very tricky because I have first I was very put off by the OSR movement because there are an awful lot of assholes within that OSR community. But then I've
Hmm.
met some people who are absolutely unbelievable, diverse, and incredible writers who sent me some
Hmm.
material. You know, Hamzek has me, Diogo Nogueira. He sent me. They both sent me a few things,
Hmm.
and I was reading those adventures and thinking, yes, this is actually very good,
Hmm.
but this is what I used to play in the early 90s.
Mm.
So why why would I want to play this that I was playing in the early 90s, this style? It
Hmm.
felt somewhat a bit too adversarial to me. You know, it brought me memories from
Yeah.
when the players and the GMs were the enemies and they had to
Right.
cancel each other somehow. And
Right.
obviously, it never worked out well for the players. It was always bad
Hmm.
for better for the GM. So I was a bit. This is good. This is
Hmm.
this is very good. But as you said, this doesn't really scratch that itch for me.
Hmm.
It just
It's like
doesn't.
yeah. It's like yeah, and I noticed there are a lot of people involved in it who are either people who are nostalgic for those games
Hmm.
because they used to play them because that's how they used to play, or people who are young or too young to have played them,
Hmm.
so they don't have the nostalgia, but they just say, "Wait, this is a lot simpler than what I was shown," and it's like, yeah. and so I can get it. But with me, it's like
It,
I've kind of grown as a role player since then, and
that's the thing. But I have to give them some credit though, and is that at least the
yeah.
adventures that Diogo and Hamza sent me,
Mhm,
they were better than the adventures that I used to read in the 90s. So the quality of the
mhm.
whole structure of the adventure has improved quite
Yeah,
dramatically, and the diversity, but then they are very focused and keen on diversity in their product, so it made sense for that to be the case.
yeah,
But it was a
yeah.
lot better, so I can see why they want to play, and I can see that the material is actually very, very good. But again,
Mhm,
I rather read and play a weird little zine that I'm going to play a couple of times than an
mhm.
OSR. It's just not my thing. And I'm also very much in love at the moment with free leagues systems. So, the 0 year and or year zero engine, I am in love with it.
Mm.
Can't get enough. So, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the next step for WOTC? What's
Mm.
going to be the next fuck up? Because they keep going from one to
The
the
next,
next. I mean, what's going to happen in Gen Con? Because I would be surprised if nothing happens before Gen Con.
I don't know, like WotC wise or just role playing wise.
No,
It's
no, what's it? Because I mean, recently we had the OGL scandal.
yeah.
Then we had this content creators summit,
Hmm.
which was like holy mother of Paler people. Just get your
I heard
shit
that went
together.
badly.
Oh, that was appalling in every single way, shape, or form.
Yikes.
And then we have the Pinkertons. Woo! How exciting! You get some
Okay.
stuff that you're not meant to have, and no, you're not gonna get a phone call saying, "Hey, could you please take that video down? You're not meant to show that yet," or a letter. No, 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 no. You're going to get real mercenaries showing at your door saying, "You have to give us those things, or we will break your legs." In legal terms, of course. I'm not saying that they threatened them with breaking their legs. That was allegedly. That was metaphorical. Don't get all upset with me,
That was
Pinkertons.
all hypothetical.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
hypothetical.
resemblance to real life events is completely coincidental.
Absolutely, yes. This is all alleged. Pinkertons, don't come to my home. Thank you. Go away. Peace off.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't. It's just. I guess at this point I can no longer be surprised. It's like, I mean, the only thing you could do that would actually surprise me is like Hasbro going, "Yeah, we're cutting them loose. No more D&D. Bye." That would probably shock me. But other than that, nope.
I'm expecting something like the revelation that I don't know. This is completely wild. Okay, so people don't take my word for this. This is just a pure conspiracy bullshit that I'm inventing here. But something in the lines of Ghostwriter wrote the new Dragonlance novels instead of Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. Secretly they didn't. They wrote it, and then the whole work was completely replaced by Ghostwriter's work. Something like that. I would not be surprised at all if something like that happened.
Mm, yeah,
That's the next step.
yeah.
Or I don't know, line of products suspended over alleged plagiarism, or this would be amazing. Wizards of the Coast goes AI.
There is an AI program for role playing.
I know, but
I
and they,
found it.
but imagine that suddenly Magic the Gathering is going to release a whole new series of cards with AI artwork,
Yeah, AI artwork and AI text.
text.
It's like Chat GPT. Create a role playing game for me that, that does this.
Magic the GPT. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Game created.
it's like It'll be grammatically correct, but you will have it will like, oh no, don't hire any editors or proofreaders or anything. Just put it on the cards and go. Put it on the cards, and then we get the angry calls about it. It's like I don't get this. Like,
That would be amazing. I tell you, if somebody spotted AI generated artwork within WOTC's work, that would be just absolutely unbelievable. And I'm not saying that I wish it happens, okay? Because despite all their misdoings and all their bullshit, there are real people working for Wizards of the Coast. There are a lot of people who are good people trying to do their best at WotC. And I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I know some people who work at WotC, and they are great human beings. So I don't wish for this to happen, but I just cannot imagine a world where they don't fuck it up again soon. I just can't.
oh, okay. It's like, yeah, it's like, guess what Watson did now? Like, okay.
The new
Yeah. They fired all their writers and replaced them with typing monkeys. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds like something they do. I was like, yeah, the layout was off with the last release. like, like I was really excited. I had been excited about Spelljammer, but that came and went without so much as a blip. I was,
the,
and I didn't hear nice things about it.
well, the thing, and this is an issue, and I'm going to be very controversial in here. Surprise.
Mhm,
But the issue with Wizards of the Coast is that the fandom, even the
mhm,
critical fandom, people who are
mhm,
critical to them, are so eager for D&D, and they are
mhm,
so huge and command so much money even for third party publishers that
mhm,
even people who dare criticize, they only criticize them for X period of time, so not to fall foul of their practices and be ignored by them because they are actually very necessary for the livelihoods of a lot of people.
mhm,
So people complain about them and then, oh, okay, I've done my work, I've complained about this, I've criticized them. Now I'm going to move on to keep streaming, keep talking, keep writing, keep saying things about them, and keep using their system because I'm making money out of it. And it is a lot
mhm,
easier to make money out of D&D than it is to make money out of basic RPG, Fate,
mhm,
GR Engine, Pelgrane Press's Gumshoe, Paizo's
mhm,
3.5, whatever. It is
mhm,
a lot easier. So I think that is why you hear about the Hadozi, and then suddenly
mhm,
you don't hear about the Hadozi anymore, and you don't hear about what they did
mhm,
anymore. You hear about the Radiant
mhm.
Citadel, which
Yeah.
it's amazing, absolutely
Mhm,
fantastic, and we should see more product like that, not just from WhatsApp, by the way, but from many other
mhm,
companies. But people just say it, and it disappears because they are too big and they don't want to piss them off.
mhm. Yeah, unfortunately, the influencer economy strikes again. Um, but yeah, and then I heard somewhere that Critical Role is not doing D&D anymore.
I've heard something I saw. I can't remember what it was. I don't follow Critical Role, not because of them.
Me either, but it was like,
I don't have anything particularly against them too much. A few criticisms here and there, but their fandom is rabid.
mhm.
Oh my god, our fandom is completely and utterly rabid. It's worse than Star Wars' fandom. So I don't want
Oh
anything to
wow,
yeah. So I'm a bit like,
yeah.
well, I'm not touching you with a barge pole. I like you guys more than not, but wow, no, I don't want to deal with the fragility of that kind of fandom. But yeah, I
Yikes.
saw a photograph and they're going to do some sort of mystery thing.
Huh.
It,
Oh, that sounds
it
interesting.
looked more cosmic horror than D&D, I think.
Okay.
At least the
Yeah.
photograph.
Yeah. Seems.
I don't know. something. But yeah, I saw it in Facebook. I saw a photograph in Facebook, and they didn't look like it didn't look like the standard setup or the standard clothing or anything at all like that. It looked more Cthulhu than D&D.
Okay. Huh. That's interesting. But yeah, it's like because I really like the Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime.
You did or you didn't?
I do.
Okay,
I can't help it. I watch it so much.
I
Like
I have to say I need to give it a second look because I watched
it took. Yeah.
the first episode and I thought
Yeah. That one's. Mm,
I thought that'd be
that was.
really. I mean, I would have enjoyed this when I was 8 or 9 with all the swearing and the burping and the rubbish. But I'm a bit
Yeah. It 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 picks up around like the second episode was better.
okay.
Then the third episode is when they actually get into the meat of the story.
Okay,
And then it's like, ah, okay, I get it now. Then I start to understand these characters. And the second season is better than the first.
okay, fine. Okay, I will have to have a go at it again then and give it another chance. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I supplemented it with like Wikipedia articles and whatnot too. So like so I'm like, I don't have to watch this whole show to understand what's going on, do I? And the answer is no.
Fair enough.
Like, good, good.
I will have another go at that because as I said, I did find it a bit puerile for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that first episode was the first half of that first episode is just like it sticks out because of it. Like, yeah, there's some toilet humor at some point at different points, but it's not that grotesque
Yeah, it
the
was.
whole time.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. In
Yeah,
that
it was a
case,
lot it was a lot in the very first episode. The second one, not so much. The third one is when the story picks up, and it's like, ah.
okay,
And
fine.
then the second season is better. Yeah,
Okay, so I will take a look at
yeah.
that. Good. Well, we have spoken about an awful lot of things, and we've been at it for an
I
hour now.
know.
So we should do this again and not wait 3 years.
Yeah, we should probably not wait 3 years.
Okay.
Maybe like 6 months or so. Of it, check in.
I'll be up for that.
Yeah,
I'll be more than
yeah,
happy to do that. So yeah, let's.
yeah, check in every 6 months. Check in every so just like, hey, did you see that weird shit Foxy did? Yeah, but yeah. So
Good. Okay, humans watching this static image in YouTube or listening to us in whatever platform, please do send your comments as long as they are nice and constructive. Otherwise, you will just be ignored because we can be arsed with people who are unpleasant or annoying because why the fuck? Sorry, I said fuck. Oh, I said it again. Fuck. Sorry, fuck. But do get in touch. I am at GMS Magazine in Twitter and on Facebook. I would love to hear from you. Send out your emails at podcast@gmsmagazine.com, and there will be all sorts of information in the show notes. So please, please, please say hello. Shawn, thank you very much for being back. It's
thank you.
absolutely great having you around and just
Yeah, it's great hanging out again.
having a chat. Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it again. So, humans,
Yes.
until the next time, have a great one.
Yay. Yeah. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about the D&D movie.
That's okay. 10 minutes.
Totally forgot to talk about it because I saw it. I saw it and I loved it. And I remember that first D&D movie that they made in like the year
Oh,
2000 with the bad CGI and like the plot was just who made this shit up?
you know what? I have a confession to make. I worked for the company who did the 3D modeling for that film.
Wow.
I was working for a company when I started working for them. It was called Viewpoint Data Labs. Then
Hmm.
went to be called Viewpoint Digital, and
Hmm.
Viewpoint was specialized in creating 3D models for movies and adverts and video games and that sort of thing. And I was leaving the company when those dragons were being modeled, and it was. Don't get me wrong. When I watched it, I really liked it, because I was
Mhm.
23 years younger, as in 23 years more stupid, and I
Mhm.
really liked it. And then I watched it second time a couple of years later, and I thought, what the hell was I thinking?
Were you high at the time when you watched it
No,
the
well,
first time?
kind of, yes, because I was really excited. I was really excited. I've never done drugs. I wasn't high that way, but I was excited because of the D&D film. I was excited because people I knew were in the credits of that film, and the company that I had been working with, even though they were a bunch of assholes and some fucking wankers, and they basically drove me out of the company because I'm gay and they are based in Provo. But I was really excited, so I was kind of high. So I didn't see the film for the pile of shit it is.
Yikes. Yeah, okay. So I've seen the new one. Have you?
Yes, three times.
Okay. I was like, wow. And I was like, my mom had asked me because mom and I, our thing is to go see the movies together. Like, and it has to meet certain requirements. Like, mom will not see anything black and white
Okay,
or anything that has subtitles or anything that has like shaky cam or anything that's too bloody.
okay,
So, so it has to be like meet certain requirements. Like me watching my avant-garde movie shit. Okay, I cannot just do that by myself. Mom, okay, so I said D&D movie would be up mom's alley. However, I said, well, because I hadn't seen any reviews about it. It's like, well, I don't know if you would get it if you don't play the game. Because then it's like you just be lost and bored versus laughing at shit that's funny. And then I saw the movie, and it's like, first of all, it was actually pretty well put together. I have questions about that child's skin complexion that mysteriously gets lighter as she gets older, where she starts out brown, but somehow becomes pale.
look,
Like she starts out brown with coily hair, then becomes pale with wavy hair when she gets like 12 or 13. I don't know how that happened.
spray. No, no, spray tying is expensive. I'm guessing.
How you get whiter though? How you go from black to white as a child?
She was in her basement playing D&D all the time. I don't know.
Okay. Oh yeah. Maybe she never went outside.
Yes.
Maybe she never went outside. And there was like a monster that only eats melanin.
Yeah.
But like, okay, I was like, okay, we did the reverse vitiligo. Okay, I get it. But like, and then it was like the things that were in it were like, oh, this place. It's like you get to see like I kind of. It's sort of like, okay, this isn't necessarily congruent with D&D rules per se, but it has like those things where it's like it's hard to describe because if you play the game, there's an extra layer of enjoyment in it
Yes, that's true.
where it's like you're imagining this as somebody's campaign. And it's like that would totally happen in a D&D campaign. That would totally happen.
You know, there's one thing that I really enjoyed, and it was the reverse of metagaming. You know, when you're
Hmm.
playing when you're playing in a campaign and you bring your knowledge into the campaign, the knowledge that the characters are not meant to have, that kind
Hmm.
of metagaming, they do it in reverse. When,
Hmm.
for instance, when they are asking the questions in the cemetery to the dead people,
Hmm.
the the why five questions.
Hmm.
That is a question that every single player who's actually cast that spell has asked to their GM. Well, why five? Why not six? Why not 10? Why only five? I don't know. That's just the way it is. I thought that was so meta playing within the film
Hmm.
itself, and unless you are a player, you wouldn't notice that. It was just a funny line of dialogue. But
Hmm.
my husband Martin is not into D&D at all. He loved it, really, really loved it.
Yeah.
So that I
And
thought
it's
that's the
like,
litmus test for me.
yeah. Yeah. And then on another thing, and a thing that like is easy to overlook, it's fun.
Yes.
It's just fun.
Yep.
It's not grim dark. It's not depressing. You're gonna laugh at some shit and have a good time and look at this silly shit and you're gonna be fine. It's fun. And You don't feel dirty when you leave the theater.
No.
It's like not. It is emphatically not Game of Thrones. And I liked Game of Thrones when it was good,
The first season.
but like the first through like the sixth season, I think. Well, season five was a little
Yeah.
shitty, but like seven and eight were like, huh? Like
Yeah.
seven and eight was when they truly gave up. Where it was like, we're doing Star Wars now, and they dropped the ball on that and lost Star Wars while they were at it.
I I can imagine some meeting with Martin, with George Martin, saying, "Dude, you need to finish this, or we will do whatever we want." And George
Mhm.
Martin said, "Well, you're not gonna do. Wait, no, listen, fuck it. Don't finish the book. I don't care. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. But what we're gonna do? We're gonna do so and so and so and so and so and so. You can't do that. Watch us." And they did it,
Mhm.
just to spite
Mhm.
him. I bet, I bet there was something like that because, yeah, I don't understand. But yeah, the D&D film was unadulterated, just harmless fun.
Mhm.
It didn't want to be a moral conundrum
Mhm.
kind of hidden meanings sort of movie. It just wanted to be fun. And I think it did it really well. I've gone to see it 3 times, and I cannot wait for it to come on streaming service and watch it again because I
Mhm.
loved it.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the very first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Like it was just silly action fun. It's like all those pirate tropes and poking fun at them, but not in this cynical way. It's like it's teasing it, but in a loving way. You know what I mean? Like it's loving in its teasing. Like yeah, it's not this cynical deconstruction.
No.
It's just we love this, but we know it's fucking silly.
And that was the way it was meant to be. I think if they had tried to do something more serious with it, they would
Hmm.
have messed it up ginormously. And I'm not, and this is not to say that there isn't space in D&D for really serious exploratory work. I think there is.
Hmm.
But that movie
Hmm.
was not meant to be the one, and they made the right decisions, I think. I really, really loved it. I enjoyed it every single second of it. So I hope there will be more. I wonder, though, and there is a very last point of contention here. I wonder how much the number of people who decided to boycott it because of the Wizards of the Coast's OGL debacle hurt the film.
Hmm.
I don't think a lot because I don't think we had that many. And I also reckon that an awful lot of people who said, "Oh, I'm not going to go and watch it," actually did go and watch it anyway, and I'm not saying anything
Yeah.
about it. But I wonder how much that actually hurt it.
Well, I have to think about it too because it's like I'm pretty sure that like the movie business is a whole other thing.
Hmm.
You're not going to capture like the entire role playing gamer market with one movie,
No.
and the people who are paying attention to the news about Wizards of the Coast are actually a small fraction of the community. And like when you're talking about casual gamers or people who are interested in Dungeons and Dragons but never played it, it's like that's a drop in the bucket compared to them. So I'm thinking like though a very vocal minority is talking shit about boycott, but then it's like the average, let me say, American film goer is not paying attention to all that
No.
shit. So so yeah, I
I
mean
agree.
maybe some professional, but that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's. I mean, if anything hurt it, it'd be the fact that it was like COVID or whatever.
And released at the same time of John Wick 4.
Yeah.
That was a bit ouch. That,
I saw both, but John Wick 4, oh man. Talking about a role playing games, like things that would make great role playing game settings and role playing games, like John Wick 4. I like that would be cool. How do you make John Wick in D&D?
I don't think. Oh my god! I don't think D&D would be the right thing because it's John Wick. The
No.
thing is too silly. I
Yeah.
mean, I watched the film and I love the series. Okay, I absolutely love the 4 films. I've lapped at them. But this thing about just lifting your jacket and that's enough to stop bullets. wait, what? I'm falling off a fourth floor onto a van and then bouncing on the floor, and then you just shake it off a bit, like, oh, my back, oh, my, oh, okay, oh, sorry, they're coming for me, let's run.
Well, just crack your back, you'll be fine. I mean, it's like, better.
Where's my portable osteopath? You know, so what? But yeah, that
You've
movie.
been shot and stabbed so many times. Like, oh my God.
I don't know.
It's like, it's like, okay, he's just a first level fighter with like 10,000 hit points.
It's it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. But yeah, I think that probably hurt it quite a few $1 million. The fact that it came out at the same time as
Yeah.
John Wick. But I hope it is true. The rumors that Joe Manganiello is doing a Dragonlance series for Amazon
Mm,
Prime. I hope that
mm,
works
yeah.
better than the Lord of the Rings or the Rings.
Yeah. The Rings of Power. I
Yeah,
actually liked
so did I.
they were they were in Amazon's defense, they were hamstrung by the licensing. Um
I have a secret to tell you. I really liked the series very, very much, but I don't dare saying it in loud voice because I will be hit by a lot of people.
okay. Your secret is safe with me. It's like I actually liked
I
it.
did. I'm sorry.
It's like, oh.
I enjoyed. I mean, I hated Galadriel. My God, what a bitch. But
Calm down, lady.
yeah, Jesus, come on. I, I don't. I hated her so much. It was like, no, go away. You know, go to, I don't know, do yoga or calm down a bit and come back as a proper elf. You know, don't, no, go away.
Go smoke that Shire weed. You'll be
Oh,
fine.
exactly. She spent longer with the hobbits and, fewer time with Celeborn or whatever. Anyway,
I was like, and it's sort of like it's kind of interesting because I'm a big fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I have all the extended edition DVDs, so it's like, and I'm a huge fan of what Peter Jackson did there. But at the same time, it's like, dang, it would have been nice if, you know. But then they did it, and then of course you had the racist fans getting all racist. Like, let me get this straight. You're mad because some elves were black. Really?
I just thought, I have only heard one person giving me a recent argument that didn't drive me completely mental. Only one person. And I completely cast it off my head within 10 minutes of having heard it because even though it was well recent, it actually just didn't have any weight whatsoever. None.
Mm-mm. I was like, okay, so
It,
is it really that important to the story that all the elves be? Is it that important for them not to be black? Like, for them not to be visibly black around? Seriously? And then it's like what they're doing with the interest is interesting too, because they're paying attention to because they're adapting a point in Middle Earth's history that doesn't get a lot of attention.
mhm.
Like everybody wants to do The Hobbit, everybody wants to do Lord of the Rings, but like nobody wants to do the Silmarillion crap. And I love the Silmarillion, by the way. I
So do I.
love the first age,
So I've read it four
and they don't
times.
want to do the second age, and they don't want to do the second age, which is like the heyday of the excuse me, the heyday of the elves. And I'm like, why? Because all that juicy shit's in there. All the really cool reading between the lines stuff is there. And it's like, okay. And it's like, and the elves are kind of like what I found interesting is that uh these Amazon is doing something interesting in that they're making the Harfoots, our proto hobbits, and the dwarves as interesting as elves and men, if not more so. Like, I never thought I'd be interested in those hairy-footed fucks, but apparently I am. Um, like, uh,
Admittedly, they are a little more interesting than the hobbits,
mhm,
I
yeah,
found.
yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So they have like an actual culture, and
Mm.
it's not quaint English countryside stuff. Okay, and then the dwarves, they made them more awesome, because like they actually, again, they have an actual culture. They have um like an actual way of life that you understand why they behave a certain way about like their treasures and whatnot. It's not just insert greedy dwarf stereotype here. It's often a lot like it. It's like tied to who they are as people, and it's like, okay, I get it now. And let's see, who did I like? And the reveal about Sauron.
Hmm.
Everybody was saying it from the beginning, but I was like, nah, it could be that. Nah, it couldn't be that. No, that's too obvious. Nah, it wouldn't be that. I mean, they said he was more like, oh my God, they did. And the way that he revealed himself, and it was like what he was like, I understood why people fell for his shit. Like, at first, it's like, well, like, obvious evil, obviously evil guy is evil. Like, how would you not? Why would you trust this guy? But then it's like, oh, okay, that's a little more complex. That's a little more compelling. And you can see people um, trusting him
Hmm.
in this odd sort of way because he's a manipulator and whatnot, and he's a liar and a manipulator because like he wasn't the tall dude in the armor at first. He was apparently just some guy walking around. Was like, hey, let me show you how to make your shit better. I'll show you. I got this. Hey, have you tried this weird alloy thing? It might make your stuff stronger. Just a thought. Like, it's he's like, oh, me, I'm a humble smith. I just do this, that, and the third. This was wonderful. And it's just like, oh, uh, yikes.
Yes, I thought that was pretty daring. I mean, but there's so many things about that series was actually quite
Mhm.
daring, which is one of the things that I
Yeah.
respect the most. And don't get me wrong, there
Yes.
were things I didn't like at all. The very end with the destruction of the tower, and suddenly the mountain becomes this mechanism for flooding everything around it and becoming
Mhm.
Mount Doom. It's a bit
Mhm.
how the what
Yeah. Oh.
what that was a bit shoehorned in there that I didn't particularly like. They
Mhm.
didn't need to go through that contraption. They could have just said, Sauron's power is doing this. He's powerful enough to do it. So
Mhm.
why turn it into this mechanism? I didn't enjoy that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
But I think they should do a series just based on the dwarves.
Oh yes. Dwarves tell you that it's like, yeah. I was like, it took me a while to get used to that Elrond because Elrond was my favorite in the trilogy. Um, because it's like he's young and kind of naive. I'm like, how do you grow up to be
And dare I
that guy?
dare I say, not particularly handsome either.
Mm-mm.
I didn't find him. I know that elves are meant to be all beautiful things, and I looked at that guy and I thought, you're all right, but you are not a particularly good-looking guy, especially compared with
That
Hugo Weaving. It was a bit.
was like,
How did you turn into Hugo Weaving?
yeah, it's like, okay, it's just like with like, no disrespect to Hayden Christensen or
No,
Jake Lloyd, but how do you become James Earl Jones as Darth Vader? How does that happen? How do you become Darth Vader? I don't see it.
no, me neither. I'm sorry. It's just not. eh, I'm sure he has his public, but it's not me. I'm sorry.
It's like, no, he's too much of a, and I hate to use this American queer terminology here. He's too much of a twink.
Yes.
He's like, it's like at that point, Elrond is about 3,000 years old. He's not
A child.
young and childlike and trusting anymore.
No.
He's already been. It's like actually like at some point I made a Tumblr post about like all the trauma that poor character has been through, and I'm like, first of all, he'd be on some. The shrink would just like start crying if he got into it, but like it's just like if he landed on some psych, it's like yeah, Elrond definitely needs therapy.
Absolutely.
Um,
But in fairness, we don't know if he's on, the Elvish equivalent of Prozac or something already. He could,
I hope he
he
is.
could very well be.
I think that's what sailing west is supposed to be. like, like I'm going to like a quiet retirement. Just go,
Yes.
just go, just sail west. It's like, and even his like, there's no happily ever after for this guy.
No, well,
It,
absolutely not.
and it's not even his fault. It's just like, oh my god,
Yes,
this is not like certain other characters in Tolkien's Legendarium where it's like, yeah, you came to a bad end, but you kind of did it to yourself. But
yes,
like, poor hell, like, you start off with getting kidnapped. Like you witness a massacre in your home. Um, your mom flies out of a window. Takes a swan dive out of a window. Your dad just pisses off to sail the heavens forever. And then, yeah, and that's just the beginning.
well, elf life is not easy, is it? Poor things.
No, it's like okay, does he get therapy at any point in all this? No,
No.
it's like he's like a traumatized child, and it just gets worse from there. And apparently he turns out to be like one of the nicest people. Maybe
Well,
that has something to do with it. I don't know, but like
well, it would be nice if they actually dug deeper into that for the character, because it would be very nice to see how can he be that nice person after so much shit. It would be interesting. I just hope
yeah,
they don't cancel that show though, because that would be
yeah, fingers
tragic.
crossed. I mean, I think they already. I don't know if they already put the money forward, but like they'd already slated to make at least a couple more seasons.
I think they budgeted for the 5 seasons, so
Yeah,
we'll see. I hope
yeah,
I hope the fandom decides to calm down a little bit and just suspend their disbelief. As if imagining that Middle Earth was not real and anything is possible there. That would be nice, and just
yeah.
enjoy it.
No, yeah, and it's like, what else? I'm interested to see what happens with Gandalf. Um,
Hmm.
because Ian McKellen is a tough act to follow.
Yes,
It's the same thing with Elrond. Like Hugo Weaving's a tough act to follow, and you don't have the certain gravitas of someone who's been dealing with some heavy shit for a long time.
and yet I thought that actually he was a very good character. I really liked the actor. I think he's
Yeah,
carrying the role very well. And
yeah,
this relationship with the young Harfoot, I think
uh-huh.
I thought that I having this little person,
Hmm.
kind of helping him drive his moral compass as he discovers
Hmm.
himself.
Yeah,
I dig that. I like it.
pretty neat. Yeah, pretty. It's really neat, and it also explains his attachment to hobbits.
Correct.
It's like, why would this mighty wizard give a damn about these little
These little
hole
guys.
dwelling fuckers?
Yeah.
Why would he care? But it's like, okay, I get it now. And it's like, what was it like when they first came? Because the way Tolkien describes it, they already came, they already ready to, kick ass and chew bubblegum, right? But it's like, oh, it was a process. It wasn't instant. Um, and that's not even talking about the other Istar that
Correct.
that came.
Which would be very nice if they made an appearance as well.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Saruman, we haven't seen Radagast.
We haven't
We
seen
don't know what happened to the other two.
Payan. What were the names? Payando or Palando and somebody else?
Yeah, the Blue Wizards, we don't know what happened to them.
No.
Um, yeah, and then there's like, and I like it's the same thing like with Sauron, where it was like, oh, he doesn't come, he doesn't come wearing that disguise, that Dark Lord persona. It was like a period of time in which maybe he rethought some things and would have, gone back to just making stuff and being happy with that. But then something something went wrong.
You know,
He decided,
actually, you know what went wrong?
mm,
That Galadriel bitch trying to kill absolutely every single one of his creations. Of course he was mad. I would be mad too.
yeah,
Here I am. I just want to be evil in this little corner of the land and be left alone to be, do my thing, just be this Middle Earth Dr. Frankenstein sort of thing, creating my own creatures. And what do? You want to exterminate us just because we don't look like you stupid idiot bitch. That's why I think he became evil.
yeah. I think it was something. It was like, and then he saw like, oh well, these people need to be ruled. Where like at first the way it was like, oh, Sauron just did it because Sauron's a bad guy and that's what bad guys do. But then it's like, okay, so he looks at the state of the world and says, there's a lot of discord and division. Somebody needs to bring order to this chaos.
Hmm.
Oh, it should be me.
Well,
Yeah, totally should be me. Totally should be me. Because I have all this knowledge, I have all this skill, and I can do XYZ and make things better. And it's humanizing, but it's still like, whoa, for fuck's sake, dude. you know? So it's like, yikes. It's so in a way like actually making Sauron a character as opposed to
a
like an
concept.
evil force
Hmm.
really made it more compelling. And it's like, oh, oh crap. It was like when we found out that Hallbrand was not who he said he was, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, and they were listening to this guy the whole time, and it was like, fuck.
Well, this explains a lot of things. Anyway,
Yeah.
we've been going on about it for another extra half an hour, and it's 25 to 11 p.m. here, and I have a 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
starting time tomorrow morning. So
Yikes.
now we need to say the proper farewell,
Yes.
um, because otherwise
This was nice.
we'll be here forever. Nice that would be though. So anyway, thank you, Shawn, for being here and
No
joining me
problem.
again. I really have loved this, and
Yes.
let's do it again.
Yes. And next time we're going to talk about the D&D movie and Lord of
Yes,
the Rings of Power.
yes, and
We have things to say.
yes, at length. Humans,
Yes.
thank you very much indeed
Yes.
for being there. We will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.
Okay, cool. Bye bye.